Your support helps us bring you programs you love. Go to wyomingpbs.org, click on Support, and become a sustaining member or an annual member. It's easy and secure. Thank you.
In April, more than 170 youth from across Wyoming were presented with bronze, silver, and gold Wyoming Congressional Award medals at a ceremony in Cheyenne. The national program, with its roots traced to Wyoming, is a non-competitive program for young people ages 13 to 23 who are willing to accept the challenge of setting personal goals to better themselves and their communities. We'll meet some of the gold medal Wyoming Congressional Award winners. It's next on Wyoming Chronicle.
Funding for this program was provided in part by the Wyoming Public Television Endowment and viewers like you.
So my name is Chloe Rankin. I'm a sophomore at Campbell County High School in Gillette, and I heard about the Congressional Award through Mrs. Enzi one day when I was having lunch with her after painting her fence. What I've learned through participating in Congressional Award is that I can't really underestimate myself, and volunteering is something I've grown to love. And it's something that's really, I think, going to help me through my life. And it's been an amazing experience learning what I can do for myself and for my community. In Gillette, I have volunteered at the Women's Resource Center, which helps young families. And I helped at a science camp teaching children STEM. I've also helped a lot through my youth group and through the student council at my high school and junior high. What impressed me most about volunteering at the Women's Resource Center was just how much they help others and how what I did for them was also helping those in my community. It's been really awesome. I enjoy sewing a lot, and it's something I started doing when I was 10, so I knew it was something that I wanted to get better at and enhance my skills at. So for the Congressional Award, I actually challenged myself by making a dress which I will wear in Washington, D.C. to the gold ceremony. For the Congressional Award, you have to have 200 hours of physical fitness, and so I went, and my goals were to have 80% of my volleyball serves over and in and good serves, and to do that, I went to practices, open gyms, I lifted, ran, just anything to help, and then during my sophomore season, I went and during games, I had 100% accurate serves over and in. My other goal was to go 26.5 feet in the triple jump. And I actually now consistently jump 30 feet or more and have a personal best of 31.1. And to do that, I've also gone to practices, open tracks. I work on my own a lot, just anything to help make myself better. I had never been to Yellowstone, and I was 14 when I went, and so for not going for 14 years, it was just amazing to see another part of Wyoming. I'd never even been to that side of the state, and so to see all the gorgeous wildlife and to see Old Faithful was my favorite. And just to go even up into Idaho, we got to see different diverse cultures, which I thought was really cool because it's not something you see much of in Gillette. For the Congressional Award, I had to help plan the entire trip, and so we put multiple hours deciding where we were going to go on what days, what place we wanted to make sure we ate at, just many different little things that needed to be taken care of before we left, and then following a schedule through the trip. Even though I'm only a sophomore, at school we have different representatives from colleges visit, and I always like to make sure I go just to see where I want to go. And right now I'm either thinking the University of Wyoming or Chadron State. And even though I don't really know what I want to do, I know I want to stay kind of close to home and go to a really good school. If there are any students watching, I really encourage you to go and sign up to get your Congressional Award. It's an amazing experience. You will learn a lot about yourself and about the things you're able to do. And it's a ton of fun, even just coming to Cheyenne or going to DC and getting to meet all these kids who have done the same things that you have.
I'm Lauren Salzgiver. I'm a senior at Central High School. I first became involved in the Congressional Awards through my 4-H program. My 4-H leader was actually an advisor, Deb Dolph, and when I was 12, I started doing community service through 4-H. I became the community service chair of my 4-H group, and so my 4-H leader kind of brought it up to me and thought, well, you're doing all of this community service, why not make it count towards something bigger and become a part of this program? What I've done to volunteer in my community is quite a few various projects. A lot of my projects I have done have been through Key Club at my high school. This year I took the role of vice president of the club, and one of our main projects that we organize and execute for our community is called Boo Fest, and it's a Halloween festival for children in the community surrounding our high school. So last year, we wanted to make it have a larger impact on our community. So we decided to include a cakewalk, and my club and I baked over 1,000 cupcakes for the kids, and we also introduced a haunted hallway so that the kids can have something fun to walk through for the festival. And that is just a really big project because we need quite a bit of fundraising and a lot of effort to put into the event. I came into the opportunity of working with the children's therapy group a couple of years ago. One of my friends recommended me to the manager of the clinic, and so I work with children with various disabilities. We do physical therapy for these kids, and I've actually kind of developed a special relationship with one of the patients. He's severely autistic and he's nonverbal, so it took quite a while for me to be able to work with him independently. It took quite a bit of patience and a lot of just me trusting him to learn what he needs to do. And he's my favorite little guy. He's so much fun, and that has definitely impacted me a lot, just doing that work, because I've learned you don't just have to give to people who can tell you thank you. I mean, working with these kids, my little guy with autism, he can't really say thank you, but it shows when he's healthy and he's able to run around and play games and participate in all these things that I think I've helped him achieve. For my physical fitness requirement, I've learned to box. I started boxing with Pink Glove's gym about 6 months ago maybe, and it has taught me a lot. Not only physically, because yes, of course I'm learning to box and how to defend myself, but a lot mentally. I went into boxing when I was kind of at a not so great mental state, and it has taught me so much about being a strong and confident woman. And I think that a lot of people, especially women out there, could use that mindset that boxing gives you. And I've loved every minute of it. I love it so much. I helped my family plan an excursion to Italy and France. I went with my immediate family, my mom, dad, and brother, as well as my grandparents. In Italy, we stayed in Florence, and we got to visit all of the beautiful art museums and sculptures and see all of the Italian culture. We even got to spend a day in the countryside cooking traditional Italian food. The experience, I think, just showed me the beauty of the world that is out there if we open our eyes and explore it. After high school, I plan to attend the University of Wyoming. I want to pursue an undergraduate that will set me up to go to dental school. My dream is to go to the University of Washington and become a dentist and own my own practice one day.
My name's Cody Perkins. I'm from Laramie, Wyoming. I joined the Congressional Award kind of by happenstance. Trista Ostrom was at our school when we were planning this volunteer trip to Croatia, and she kind of talked to us about it and wanted to know if we were interested, and pretty much all of us showed interest, and We got a lot of the hours doing volunteer work for the trip for Croatia and in Croatia. So during the trip, I presented at the Business University of Rijeka on social entrepreneurship and like running a nonprofit business, but still like entrepreneuring. And I also presented on music education with my music teacher now from the high school. And she talked about how the brain changes in music and like all the what it does to your body when you play music, and that was really awesome. And another thing we were doing in Croatia, we were trying to get all these countries together and work with the youth because of all the Bosnian wars, like in the 90s, and there's still like conflict now from that with just like adults and stuff, and we wanted the youth to kind of start a new thing where it was all of us together and not taking what our parents were doing and making it, I don't know how to word that, but like just sense of unity there instead of being apart. For the physical fitness program, I mountain biked. I raced on my high school team and raced on my own quite a bit. One of my goals for the physical fitness was to podium in one of my races, and I completed that goal. In and around Laramie, I volunteered at a lot of the local food banks and just helped out wherever I could. I also taught a few classes to kids on riding bikes and like bike safety and bike rules and riding bikes in the street. What struck me when I volunteered at the food bank was the appreciation everybody gave you and the work it took. It wasn't just messing around, it was real hard work, and it was for a good cause, so it made me want to work harder for the people there, and seeing their situations and just seeing how good I have it made me want to help out a lot more. After high school, I hope to join the Army and be a firefighter in the Army, and after I get out, I plan to be a firefighter at my fire station and do wildland firefighting around the country.
I'm McKenzie Marla and I'm from Cheyenne East High School. I chose to be in the Congressional Award just because I think it's a great opportunity for kids to like get involved with their communities and I don't know, just really like outreach, and it's a great opportunity for college too with the scholarship opportunity, so yeah. So I compete in track, and that's part of my physical fitness, and I also am part of, for my community service aspect, I do some physical therapy work with the children's clinic here in Cheyenne, and then I also help with Top Soccer, which is with the special needs kids and helping develop like their fundamental skills and stuff through soccer and teaching them different skills. What I've learned most from volunteering in those programs is just how unique everybody is, and that every person, no matter their disability or their color or anything like that, deserves to be treated equally, I think. Also, I just learned so much with the program and it teaching you like values and like how to be involved with your community, like I said before, and just working hard and appreciating those around you. So for my expedition, I traveled to Alaska. So my dad used to live in Alaska, and we made our big move down to Washington. So we planned, and I helped plan like a 10-day trip, and we drove from Alaska to Canada, and then through Canada back to Washington. And it was like a 10-night stay, so we like stayed through the night. And it was really cool because we had to go to like different RV camps along the way, and we just got to like visit different places. We stopped in British Columbia, Alberta, and it was just really cool to see like how different parts of Canada are, and then making our trip finally to Richland, Washington. So I wouldn't say you should do Congressional Award because I think it's a great opportunity, like I said, for college. It teaches you a lot of like valuable skills, and like I think it really builds your character. From just like being involved in it, I've noticed like all the kids are really mature, and I think it's just a great opportunity to grow as a person. After college, I plan to become a physical therapist, hopefully, and then also I'm a type 1 diabetic as well, so I'm hoping to hopefully be able to help those who do athletics and stuff manage their type 1 diabetes.
My name is Mavin Effor, and I go to Cheyenne East High School, and I was originally interested in the Congressional Award because it was a program that combined a lot of the things that I was interested in and had a way for young people to really get involved in their communities and to better themselves. For a lot of the volunteer hours, I did these devised theater projects that studied, the first one studied human trafficking and the second one studied child soldiers. And our goal with both of these projects was really advocacy and to provide awareness in a theatrical way of issues that are not often talked about. So the whole process, I learned a lot about the topics themselves, but also one of the most important things is that I learned the best way to communicate them to an audience. The Congressional Award program has a physical fitness component, and what I did for that was take ballet classes at one of my local studios. I had been to Manhattan before. I had never been there by myself before. So for one of the days of my excursion, it was just myself and my sister that went into the city from Long Island. And what we did to plan it was, or what was most important was being able to look at transportation and booking bus tickets into the city, and then looking at costs of museums and then transportation and everything throughout the day. The Congressional Award program has meant to me, it's been a way for me to better myself and then in turn be able to better my community. And I think that's true for a lot of the students that do it. It's really important that they focus on improving, we all focus on improving ourselves and then in turn use what we've learned from that to go around and better the world around us. I would absolutely encourage people to do it. I think that's an important aspect of it, the fact that it's non-competitive and it's solely based on your own accomplishments and, again, being able to better yourself and the world and your community around you. My post-high school plans are to attend university, and I'll be studying international relations and economics.
My name is Michaela Berkowitz. I am from Rollins High School. I'm a senior this year, and I became interested in the Wyoming Congressional Award because I wanted to find a way to earn scholarships through just doing community service hours and helping the people that needed it and building myself as a person. And that way I would have money to go to school. I am the past Wyoming Associations of Student Council's president, and I learned from that no matter how small your act is, it can have a huge impact on others. And with the people that you network with, it's amazing to see the impact that you can have in their lives also. I also volunteered in Make-A-Wish, and from that experience I learned that those children who don't necessarily have a long time to live or don't have the percentage, like a high percentage on surviving, they need a little bit of hope in their life to continue. And when they have that little bit of hope, it's a lot easier for them to continue on with their life and to have a last couple of happy moments. So I have been in art for 4 years. I have done a lot of different mixed media. I've painted, I've drew, I have 2 or 3 awards from the State Art Symposium, and I'm working on a couple more this year. And I've learned a lot of different art history to work with like the master artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Claude Monet to build different pieces that interact with them and have their same type of style on them. So planning an expedition for the Wyoming Congressional Award is a requirement, and I decided to go to Black Hills, South Dakota to increase my knowledge in geology because it was definitely the avenues that I wanted to take in college. I want to go into one of the avenues I want to take is to go into education, and being a high school science teacher with a major in geology, I think would be one of my major things that I want to do to gain that knowledge and to know the world around me. After high school, I hope to get a degree in law, psychology, nursing. I have a ton of different avenues that I want to choose to do, but to do this, I'm going to use the Congressional Award and also the GI Bill because I'm going to the Marines.
I'm Noah Dryland, currently a senior at Laramie High School. I got interested in Wyoming Congressional Award through Trista Ostrom and Meredith McLaughlin on a trip to Rijeka, Croatia, and she brought up the project and I decided I would join. Through Congressional Award, I've learned quite a bit. I've learned how much service learning can do to benefit myself and the community, and how much it can help everyone overall. I've learned a lot between my trip to Croatia, how much I can help developing myself and my community, and how it can benefit both partners. When I was in Croatia, we got to serve at a youth educational conference where I discussed with other schools in other countries kind of their educational systems. And it was kind of an interesting conference because we got to see a lot of unique perspectives between countries like Turkey, Croatia, Poland, and that provided me a unique experience because I kind of realized how our education system differed from theirs. And on top of that, we got to do a lot of service learning projects like volunteering at local animal shelters and things of that nature, which was kind of a unique experience to see how it was different in other countries. So for volunteering, I served at local soccer tournaments like Turf Wars, preparing for the retreat or the trip to Croatia, the service retreat that Congressional Award does every year, and things like around town. For some of my physical fitness goals, I tried to increase on my deadlift. So my deadlift, I think, started around like 250 pounds, and by the end, I think I got it over like 450. For my excursion trip, I went on a 4-night, 5-day backpacking trip on the north rim of the Grand Canyon, which was a really unique experience because prior to that I had never gone backpacking before, and after that I kind of found a deep love for the kind of trip. What I would tell students considering trying for these awards is it really helps prepare you for the future, and it helps you become a better person over time. So through the experience, I kind of started as a young and mature teenager, and I kind of learned a lot of value experience serving my community and helping myself along the way, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody of a younger age as it helps you prepare you for the future.
Hi, my name is Arianna Lewis, and I am from here in Cheyenne. I've been participating in the Congressional Award since the first day I possibly could, my 13th and a half birthday. The very day of my 13th and a half birthday. I remember being so excited to start this program, but not only to please my mom, although that was definitely part of it. Despite being enthusiastic and encouraged to complete the program, I'll be honest, I did not think I was going to be able to. As soon as I started logging my hours, I realized it was no small feat to earn this award. 100 hours of volunteering was daunting and overwhelming, especially because I was only 13 and a half. I didn't have any transportation, let alone any idea of where to start volunteering. Thankfully, my advisor, community members, parents, and other award participants encouraged me to continue and helped me in any ways that they could. Eventually, I volunteered more, and I became more diligent in logging the hours that I had put in, until the day had finally come to receive my bronze medal. But I had convinced myself that this is where my journey with the Congressional Award ends. Unlike signing up for the program, I was not as on pace to finish the program. I'm currently 17, so it took me about 3.5 years to complete 2 years of service, development, fitness, and expeditions. However, my bronze took me 2.5 of those years. After I had struggled to complete 100 hours of volunteer work, I couldn't begin to imagine 300 more hours. Though obviously this is not where my path with the Congressional Award ended. Luckily, I did come to the spring ceremony, and I was able to hear about the importance and value of this award to not only my peers, but the Wyoming delegation as well. The words of the recipients, and especially the words of the members of Congress, were inspiring. Not only did finishing the award give me some cool medals, the experiences I gained from this program are something I'm truly thankful for. The majority of my volunteer hours were spent volunteering at the CFD Old West Museum here in town. I started volunteering at their arts and crafts kids camps they put on throughout the summer, where I'm pretty sure I did more crafts than the actual kids did. After the first summer of helping with the camps, I started volunteering there more often, basically helping in any way that they needed me to. I tallied ballots, I stuffed envelopes, I entered tons of data into a software program that I didn't know how to use, and I even cleaned on occasion. I realized that volunteering isn't for my benefit, it's for theirs. Volunteers like me keep this museum alive. Nonprofit organizations depend on volunteers to get the work done that their limited employees don't have time for, and limited resources can't afford to be spent on. And what better way to spend my time than for an organization that I believed in and with people who believed in me? My hard work and dedication allowed my relationship with the museum to become something I'm really proud of. So much so that last summer, I was asked to be the summer intern for the Arts and Education Department. So instead of helping kids make crafts at the camps I had first started volunteering with, I was curating the crafts instead. The small steps I took led me to even bigger steps and fostered a passion within me to do what I could for organizations that I believe in. Even having completed the award, I still volunteered at the museum whenever I have the time. Like with the museum and all aspects of the Congressional Award, I had goals set, but I found myself surpassing each one. What still shocks me, though, is how daunting each one of those goals felt when I wrote them out for the first time. The Congressional Award pushed me past what I had ever expected for myself. In 8th grade, I set a goal to run for student council, and I ended up being vice president. Last year, I set a goal to qualify for the national tournament in speech and debate. This year, I qualified for the national tournament for the 2nd year in a row, and am currently state champion in my respective events. In my opinion, accomplishments mean very little if you don't have a hope for greatness. The Congressional Award has made me strive for greatness and set goals for myself so that I can make myself proud and recognize my own accomplishments. When I helped with the Wyoming Congressional Award golf fundraising event last summer, I was and still am extremely appreciative of the hard work and dedication for this program put in by so many others. Not only does the Wyoming delegation continuously and tirelessly promote this organization, the community does as well. I am so grateful to be a part of an organization that allows kids to prove themselves. Because let me tell you, all of these participants can go above and beyond your expectations for them. Just because they're young doesn't mean that they're unable. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak, and thank you for coming and supporting our organization today.
Hello, my name is Colby Stockton. I'm a sophomore at high school, and I am now a gold medalist. Thank you for having me speak. I appreciate the opportunity. Congratulations to my fellow medalists, and thank you to our friends and family who support and celebrate us. I wrote the following poem to sum up my Wyoming Congressional Award experience. When I walked into this award, I didn't know how many hours I would hoard. I began my adventure in Kurt Gowdy, and before I even had the time to work up the guts to say howdy, the guide brought us all in, promises of a grand week. I was skeptical. I've heard these things before, but she lived up to it as we walked out that bus's door. 1 week of work later, I was hardly ready to say goodbye, but I gave it the old college try. 1 year later, and I was planning the next. We laughed through every one of those meetings, and we never once had to give each other greetings. Our project turned out just fine. Every day we worked and we dined. We all made some worthwhile friends, and many more would come back to do it once again. The rest of my hours were ground out among beasts. Some days it felt as though time itself had ceased. Other days flew by with the speed of a pup from a fine running breed. Cats and dogs, they wreak havoc, but those beasts were good animals, every last one. Other days I worked as tirelessly as a nun, scrubbing dishes and mopping floors, ceramic bowls, they came in scores. Not the most fun task. There were days when I'd rather sit in a cask, but I got through it, glittering gold on my mind. Sometimes I worked elsewhere, getting out of the shelter's hair. I helped out with the Cheyenne Marathon, where I got to see that the spirit of Pheidippides runs on. Gallant runners came in surges, and I had to resist some cross-country urges. At the end of the day, we all sat down for a quick snack, and then it was on to the next task. So went my Congressional Award, and I was never worried about being bored. And for that reason, come the right season, I think maybe, just maybe, I'd do it again. Thank you.
Funding for this program was provided in part by the Wyoming Public Television Endowment and viewers like you.